Hey guys, something that we are excited to tell you about is a company that is taking wine to the next level. If you've been at a restaurant or grocery store trying to pick out a bottle of wine but had no idea where to start, like me, or you're just looking for a unique event for your friends, family, or coworkers, In Good Taste is a new type of winery that can help you do both. Their mini wine bottle tasting flights help people with varying degrees of wine knowledge learn more about wine. In Good Taste provides tasting flights and complimentary virtual tasting over Zoom. The tastings create a safe space for novices and pros to ask questions about the wine, the regions, food pairings, etc. Unlike the traditional lecturing at most wineries, In Good Taste provides a fun event with trivia and quirky food pairings like which wine pairs best with Crunchwrap Supremes. Each mini bottle is one glass of wine, so you're getting 2 full bottles of wine, but in a variety for just $65. This lets you learn more while committing to less.
The problems that I thought were going to go away didn't go away.
Yeah.
They were still there. Mm-hmm. And if anything, it magnified the problems that were still there. The selfishness, the entitlement, the conflict in relationships that come out of that sense of entitlement. Like, what are you talking about, bro? I play in the NFL. I got 6 figures in my bank account. Like, right. Bro, relax. And welcome to the Darren Woodson Show. We're going to kick this off with a little teaser of what's to come next week. As you know, Mother's Day's coming around the corner. And
most important day of the year.
Most important day of the year. And traditionally, I don't think about Mother's Day until a couple days before.
the most important day of the year.
Yeah, but
just been dropping hints for the last 6 months. And somehow I forget about it. But make sure to come back and check next week's episode out because we have special guests. We have some mothers in the house. The Darren Woodson podcast studio is going to be taken over by Tiffany, and Whitney. Yeah. Y'all can guess which Tiffany ordered that I said that in, which was the most important. But it's going to be fun. They all have great personalities. You guys are going to love them.
And we're really not going to be on that show.
We are not. You will
not hear our soothing voices,
sexy voices of our wives, and not the grown ass men voices that we put.
Grown ass men, yeah.
Grown ass boys.
Yeah. But hey, just again, it's really important that you hear from them, different perspective. Because they're probably going to call out all the shit that we've been talking.
I'm a little nervous about this.
You guys are liars.
I'm a little nervous.
But thankfully, my wife doesn't listen to the podcast. So
she listens. Oh,
no, she says she's listened to about 3 in total, maybe. She doesn't listen, so I can say whatever I want.
No, Whit listens.
She really doesn't.
Yes, she does.
No, it'll be fun though.
Just saving the ammo.
All ammo.
Yeah, right. She's gonna be able to call out episode 64.
Episode 33.
No, I think it'll be fun though because it'll definitely give our female audience something to relate with. Talking about motherhood, the challenges they face, trying to balance work and life and kids, and it'll just give a fun insight, I think. And we also got some Instagram questions.
Yes.
Some users submitted some questions they're gonna answer. So.
Really cool.
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun episode.
It's great because, again, we talk about strength. We talk about resilience. And I don't think anybody embodies that more than a mother, right? And the things that they go through and have to deal with on a day in and day out basis. I couldn't do it. So it'll be fun to give them the stage and hear their perspective.
I'm nervous, guys. I'm not.
Well, your wife doesn't hold back, so I would be nervous if I was you.
She's going to come correct. She's coming for real.
She's going to be
all the dirt.
All the skeletons.
All the dirt. That's my problem, too. It's going to come out. Like, at some point, it's going to come out.
You're a fairly private dude, but I'm not sure you're going to be able to rein that one in.
Both Tiffany's Italian. They're going to just hype each other up. You guys, can we cancel this now?
Yeah. Will we survive? Will our marriage survive this?
Whitney said, I may not even be able to say a word the whole time while they're sitting there.
Oh, no. Those two?
I said, you'll be fine. Just do what I do. Just nod and smile.
But anyways, make sure to come back and check that out. Darren, what are we talking about today?
Does money bring you happiness? And I know we wanted to frame it differently, but I wanted to come out exactly like that. Does money
bring you happiness, true happiness. And I wanted to open it up. I wanted to dive right on into it because, this is a topic that, when I was a kid, I always felt like that was the dream. The dream was watching these athletes or entertainers on TV, and you're seeing them live the high flying life and the cars and the jet setting and all that. And I always think when I was a kid, like, man, that's true happiness. If I ever get there, or if I ever make that kind of money, that's when I've made it. Like, that's it. There's nothing else. There's no obstacles or nothing. It's just I've made it, and in having that thought process, there's still a lot of us out there that still have that kind of mindset of, well, once I make that first 100,000, or I make that next 200,000 or whatnot, at some point I'm going to be truly happy. And I wanted to open it up to you guys. And Tyler, I'll go to you first. Is, what's your thought process? Because you've gone through that process. You've gone, and your journey's different than mine, but you've gone through stages where you were the have-not, and then you started to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is a great topic. It is a little cliche. Let's call it what it is, right? Mm-hmm. Money doesn't buy happiness, but let's frame some things around it as to why. So I came from a humble house. My dad worked his tail off, provided we had everything we needed, but we didn't have excess by any means. And then I get into college, you live in dirt poor. So I was just like you, man, you can fill up your gas tank and not worry about if your card's going to be declined. That is the life.
Let me go back on that, man. I remember my first car, dude. I used to put out $1.10.
Yes, but you get 2 gallons.
Yeah, I get 2 gallons and figure it out.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, I could drive today to and from where I gotta go. But I really thought the same thing. I was like, okay, it's the money. When you get that, everything else is easy. Life is easy. Relationship, people want to hang out with you. You get everything you need. There's no stress. It's just must be nice. Then we go through a really poor stage after college when Tiffany and I started dating, and that was when I borrowed $500 from her because I couldn't even pay my car payment, let alone fill up gas. Couldn't buy a ring. Couldn't pay for a wedding. We had to live with my brother-in-law's brother-in-law in a house that he owned.
It's like Inception.
Yeah,
There's layers and layers.
6 layers. Yeah. Had to live in their house because they gave us a crazy deal on it. And it was just, it was a grind. And the whole time I'm thinking, when I get there, I'll be happy. When I get there, I'll be happy. Well, then fast forward and I make the roster for the Chicago Bears, my first full season. And immediately you feel it, right? You feel the lightness. You're like, okay, I know that I can pay my mortgage. I know that I can pay my car bill. I know that I don't have to worry about, filling up on gas. If I go to dinner, I'm not worried about what I get, or if I'm paying for someone, what they're getting. Yeah. It's just, okay, that's great. And then you get into, okay, we could buy a house after that. Could give my wife all the things that I felt she deserved. And it was great. It was great. But what I found during that time, and I even recognized it, is the problems that I thought were going to go away didn't go away. Yeah. They were still there. And if anything, it magnified the problems that were still there. The selfishness, the entitlement, the conflict in relationships that come out of that sense of entitlement. What are you talking about, bro? I play in the NFL. I got 6 figures in my bank account. Bro, relax. And then the judgment and all those things. And it literally, it's real. And I considered myself to be humble through that process. And it still creeps in when the money gets there. But then it by no means made my relationship with Tiffany any better. Right. Because I'm still the same guy. I'm still the same guy that had to borrow $500. That's the guy that she knows. Right. And now it doesn't matter if there's money. It's the same issues that we would have battled before. And then I play and there's some security, but in transparency is even after retirement, right? The last couple years have been hard. By no means would I ever say, oh my gosh, I had it so bad because I was super lucky because we were diligent about saving, and we made some investments that put money away that like couldn't touch.
Right.
Thank God. But there was a time where it's like, how are we going to do this? Like in conversations with Tiff, like I can't be here because I've got to work. Like I've got to work a lot if we want to have a roof over our heads and put food on the table. So then that feeling of stress came back. So I would just say the thing that I noticed is just a lighter, it's easier, it's lighter when you're not thinking about the day-to-day expenses and bills and all that comes with it. But by no means did it go away.
Right.
Because having played, I've been around a lot of people with a lot of money, not necessarily football players.
Right.
And to be very honest with you, spending time with them, traveling with them, I would never want that life.
That's right. And money just makes you more of who you really are. Right. Doesn't it? I mean,
I think so.
Highlights a little bit of everything.
I think it can be, I think it can lead you down paths that you wouldn't normally take.
Yep.
I think that it exposes you and makes you vulnerable. Honestly, let's be honest. To me, it's an opening it's a door that the devil can walk in.
That's right.
Because it increases your pride. It increases your ego for sure.
Yep.
It increases opportunities to slip up. It increases people in your life that don't have your best interest at heart.
Right.
I mean, there's so many negatives that come with it that it's a lot. And the people that I respect so much are the people that have made it, keep the level head, stay who they are. I look at like Roger Staubach. And I don't know Roger behind closed doors, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I do see how he's done it. Someone like yourself that has reached a level, and it's like, man, I still give. I still give my time. I still give my efforts. I still give those things because those are the first things to go when you don't have to.
You know, and Ben, I want to go back to you as well, man. What's
No, I want to talk to you.
Yeah, I know you do.
You're the one who signed the $36 million deal.
Yeah.
Life was good, man. I mean, all your problems went away, right?
No. So, and I'll say this: when I first came in the league, and I came from nothing, and everyone knows that. And then I go from.
Hold on, pause your story real quick. What did you think of money? You mentioned a second ago, but like, what was money to you as a kid growing up? How you grew up?
Freedom, like true freedom.
So when you saw money, you thought you didn't necessarily think of Lamborghinis and fancy cars. Like you thought, I can do what I want.
I can do what I want. I have freedom. I can help those that are in need, and that's where my mind went, was my family, because I've seen my family sacrifice for me. My mom, my sister, my brothers, they sacrificed for me. And then I saw a way that I could, maybe not repay, but help them through processes as well, right? Through financial issues that they may have, so that they're not stressed. So I always thought like money was going to alleviate all this stress. And I remember coming out of college and getting my first check with the Dallas Cowboys. And to the point where when I was graduating from Arizona State, I go back to this. I was graduating from Arizona State. I was just got my degree. I had to go pay, before I got drafted, I had to go pay. When you leave, you got to pay for your diploma once you graduate, right? You got to pay. It's like, oh, yeah, we paid. What? Yes. To get your little paper, it was like $28 or $30-something.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were like, I got to pay back on my school bills. I was like, wait, hold on.
But you had to get your actual
physical
paper. I didn't have $28. I had just gotten drafted.
I was just going to ask you, how much money did you have in your bank account before you got drafted?
None. No, I didn't have the 20. And wait a minute, I had just gotten drafted.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the check yet, right?
That's crazy.
It took me to get my signing bonus to go pay that $28.
I want to keep that one right there. That's a big one.
This was worth a lot. I owe you.
I showed up all cash.
I would hold on to that one.
I showed up today.
$28 in cash, baby.
Here, baby.
Give me that degree.
But I didn't have anything. So once I first got that check, the first thing I thought was, man, it's like the weight of the world sort of fell off as far as the stress, the financial stress. Because, one, I didn't have a whole lot of anything anyway. I didn't have any debt or anything when I was coming out of college. So I didn't have to pay anything. But I just felt like, now I can do something. So first thing I did was help my mom with a car because she had a beat up car. She was catching the bus half the time because the transmission was out on the car. So that was that sigh of relief that I could help her out. Mm-hmm. But I was like you, Tyler. It began to be more problematic in that first year because I was 22, 23 years old. And your ego takes a turn for the worst.
Yeah.
And mine did exactly that. Now I started to compare others. I started to look at what other people were doing in their lives. And that wasn't good. And then it started to be, the greed started to creep in as far as, okay, now I have that. I have this amount of money. Now I want more. Mm-hmm. It's never enough.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me for a long time because now I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses. Literally. I'm trying to make sure that, that I'm, at the right parties, I'm doing the right thing. I look the right way and all. And that part of me, and that's just young money. They call that young money.
Yep.
I was very young money in that, and it brought about stress. So the stress relief went, oh, thank God I made the money. And then it was like, holy shit, I got to do this. And I got to, I was trying to keep up. And that even got worse.
An interesting concept about you, it was like a light switch. You went from having nothing, one check, changed your whole life. Most of us, myself included, it's a gradual increase in income. Mm-hmm. You don't just flip the switch and all of a sudden I have millions of dollars. So and as you're sitting here talking about, I'm really thinking about it. One of the first times I'm thinking about this, it's really dangerous to do it the way that you did it.
Absolutely.
No, not. I don't mean that.
It is. And that's one of the biggest problems.
You're 22, no money
sports.
ever, and all of a sudden you're just handed a check that changes your life and generations of lives.
Yes.
And now we're expecting you as a society to know what to do with it
manage
and to handle that correctly.
Yes. And there's no way. I mean, I had no background in finance. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know anything about taxes. Matter of fact, first time I looked at my check, I was like, what's this FICA? What the hell is this shit? And why are they taking all this money, right?
Who the hell is FICA? And why are they taking my money?
Honestly, I don't know. I'd never seen that. I thought the same thing, and I was 26, right? Yeah. Because I was a 1099 employee for insurance, and then I literally worked off of tips at a bar and a pumpkin patch.
Right.
And it was like, I don't know if I literally had never filed taxes. True story, never filed taxes until I actually was the UFL when I actually filed taxes. But I'm like, what the hell? I'm supposed to be making this, and I only get this?
That's a sad day when you learn about the old Uncle Sam.
Man.
But back to you, Darren. And I think we asked you this when we did talk about this episode. I don't remember what episode that was. We talked about what it's like signing a big contract. You said, and Tyler, you said this too, it felt lighter.
Yeah.
Explain that. Let's dig into that a little bit more. What does that mean, it felt lighter?
Being able to go and do the little things. Like if I wanted to going to the store to buy a shirt in college or in high school or a grade.
You had to do the calculation.
You had to calculate.
By store, you mean Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx?
Shop and Go.
Walmart.
7-Eleven. They had maybe some T-shirts in the back. Like you're just trying to figure it out, dog.
Yeah.
You're
hook me up for T-shirts, sunglasses, and a sombrero for $5. Come on.
What's the first store you hit up? Please tell me it was like Gucci.
Let me tell you a quick story. So we have to travel. You have to travel once you get in the league, man. You gotta go get a suit.
Oh yeah.
Because if you don't get a suit, people are gonna kill you, right? So the first time we go to Japan, the first game, and I don't have a suit. I'm wearing an old college suit, and this sucker's like Michael. It's like a jacket, looked like Michael Jordan, went down to my knees, right?
But you look fire then.
I was fire. I was on fire. Checkered shirt with yellow pants or something, right? I get on the plane and they murder us. It's like you get on the plane, all the veterans are like, dude, what the hell are you wearing? Like, I'm serious. It's instantly, man. It's like the walk of shame. to go to your seat because they're killing you, right? So,
no matter what you're wearing.
No matter what you're wearing, right?
But you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell the first pick was Kevin Smith. Oh, he took care of his. Fitted.
So they didn't make fun of his. His suit.
Did you buy your first suit off the rack, or did you get it actually made for you?
No, I went to a place in the Galleria.
Okay.
And I picked out the color and all that, and they actually made the suit.
Okay.
That was my first suit that I ended up getting. But this is the first trip, and we're going to Japan, and we flew somewhere first, and then we all had to be suited up for a preseason game, and I wasn't suited up. And then we went to Japan, but then when I came back, I went with a good friend of mine named Michael Beasley. And we get off the plane. Mike's one of my close friends. And Beasley says, hey, man, dude, you need to lift your game up, like your suit game. What you're wearing is terrible, right? And he's my boy. Like it's like us. It's like us. And we're the same age, right? Yeah. And he had better style than I did. I'll admit that. I was like, all right, cool. Let's do that. So we go to the store. We go to the Galleria, and I'm looking at suits. And I saw the price tag on the first one, and I was like, fuck no. There is no way I'm paying. And it was like $700.
Yeah, right.
Something like that.
For sure.
$650. I was like, dude, you're out your damn mind. He grabs me before I can walk out. He said, you're going to buy this fucking suit. That's exactly what he said. You're going to buy it right now. I'm not going to let you. And he's strong as hell. I'm going to let you out. You're not leaving this place till you buy this suit.
Yeah.
And I remember it was an olive green suit that was my first purchase, and it was way over the top, man, way over the top. And I just felt like at that point, those are the little things that were kind of the relief. Like I can go buy a suit, I could go buy, something for my car, something for my girlfriend or whatnot. Like I couldn't afford those things in college. I couldn't buy gifts for people.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I actually could.
So what things did you worry about before you had money? What are some stresses that you had?
Before, I had to go to the laundry, but we didn't have a washing machine.
Yeah.
I never had a washing machine, like a dryer in my house. Like, I had to walk to the laundromat to wash clothes. Like that was a stress because it was hot as hell in Phoenix.
Right.
And I had to put a bag together and walk over there. Will my car start? Like those are legitimate questions. Like I would pray to God that my car would actually turn over.
Yeah.
When I was that young.
That's for real.
That's for real, man.
For real.
Gas, like the littlest things you could ever imagine, I stressed on.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't have it.
And to answer your question on that, lighter, that it's really that, when you're stressed, say you got a project, it's like, I got to get this thing done in an hour and 40 minutes before the meeting. I don't know if I'm going to get it done. You know how the feeling of your chest just kind of feels tighter? Yeah. Like it feels like it's just squeezing in on you. Like it literally is when you first get it and you have enough, when you get to that point, it's just like, I don't feel like I'm wearing a weight belt strapped around my chest and cinched tight. Like it's for the first time, okay, I can drop my shoulders. I'm going to be okay. I don't have to pick, okay, am I paying the TV bill or the internet bill?
Somebody's
or my pager, or in your case, my pager bill or my landline bill.
Something ain't getting paid. One of the two. Y'all do the coin flip.
Yeah, hey, which one hassles me harder? Okay, I'll pay you for sure. But it's just a feeling like not stressing over just the little things. And that's really the best part about it is just being able to make those decisions, and not have to worry about okay, so it's Tuesday, so it's Applebee's, so they've got happy hour until 6:00. Okay, and then Chili's is Wednesday night, that's their night. You know what I mean? Not knowing okay, I got to do this. It's like I wanna go to Kenny's, or I want to go to an Italian restaurant. Or okay. It was just different. But again, it didn't change anything.
How long did that feeling last for you guys?
Where you appreciated it, or that feeling?
That feeling of I just don't have to worry about this, or this. Because I'm different than you. I have a different point of view.
Yeah.
Than you guys on that.
Well, I think for me, there was the relief, and then it was the education process that I went through, in which my financial team was saying, hey, for every dollar you lose or you spend, you better make 2 to back it up, right? Mm-hmm. And it was the reality of looking at my account when I had to pay my taxes, agent fees, bought my mom a car. Like, I'm watching my account just drop. And for me, that was the process for me that I had to go through. Because once I got educated, started getting educated, because it wasn't all the way educated. But once I started getting educated on, you gotta keep going, dude. Yeah. Because this supply is going to run out. Yeah. It's so much easier, in my opinion. Look, to make money, I feel like I've always figured out a way to make money. Even when I was a kid, I'd work. But it's hard to keep.
Yeah.
It really is. And you see it. Once you make it, you start to see it go down the drain. So that's when, for me, that's when I started to get the anxiety because I didn't want to go back.
Yep.
So because I didn't want to go back to not having, what did I do? Started being greedy, started wanting to push harder. Now I'm starting to play for, my mind was, I got to get more of this to keep the freedom.
Bingo. And so that sounds an awful lot like somebody who doesn't have any money.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So the point I'm trying to make there is you had more money than you ever had in your life, and yet you're still stressing about money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had the perspective growing up the way I grew up that one day when I have money, all my problems are going to be gone. Mm-hmm. Like you said, freedom. I'm not going to have to worry about anything. And then I said this yesterday on the episode, which won't air for a while, but last year, thankfully, was a great year personally for my income. And it was both the best day of my life and the worst day of my life all at the same time. And what do I mean by that? It was great that I had that income and it felt awesome. This is great. I love this. But then when I realized this didn't change anything for me, this didn't do what I thought it was going to do, that was the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
So it's like you build all this up for years and years and years, and then it doesn't fulfill that expectation. Yeah. But the good side of that is now there's a stress. Now, and I don't know how to verbalize this necessarily, but it's like, okay, there's some stress relief there then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If money is not going to be the ultimate, then I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do I want it? Absolutely. Yeah. I want money. But I don't have to sit here and wonder anymore if my life's going to be so much better now when I get more of it.
You've already experienced it.
And tell me, it's almost a high, right?
Yeah.
Like, taste it, right?
Yeah.
Give them a taste, right? You feel it, you come off that high, and then you come down and you come to the realization of, damn, how do I keep this?
Right.
Because your stress just gets channeled in a different direction now.
Because in a transparent story about me is that after my first year, after playing in Chicago, we bought a house, put a down payment on that. Literally, my bank account was down under $1,000. Had I not made the team that next year, I was screwed.
Which is crazy.
Screwed.
Yeah.
And I mean, I made $315,000 like pre-tax.
Right.
And it was gone. Mm-hmm. Gone. And we put a ton in the house, but you learn, right? And you said, okay, spend. But then there's that realization like, okay, it takes a lot of hard work to get here, but it doesn't take much to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's a drug, man.
It is.
It is a drug. It can be an addiction. And the one thing that I did have that I truly feel like that I leaned on is, which helped me, was that my passion for the game wasn't. It was like overriding of the money. Like, I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
Like, every day I thought about the game and the sport. So that was my passion. I couldn't imagine making that kind of money and then not really caring about what I'm doing
for the money.
Yeah. You know what I mean? If I had that insight, then I probably would have looked at it differently. I would have been like, well, shit, I mean, I got to figure this out. Like, where do I find the happiness in this?
Yeah.
Because there was a ton of happiness in that road.
Well, what you just said, that's what I used to think. I don't care how I make money. I just want to make money. That's all that matters. Right. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. No. And I've come to realize that is not true, because you spend all day long, all night long, doing whatever it is that you do to get that money. And that money's not sitting there relieving that stress or relieving that desire that you have. So what you do, to me, and this is, I'm just speaking for myself, for me, what I do during the day to make that money is way more important than the amount of money that I make.
Absolutely.
Well,
Way
prime
more
example
important.
of last year. You and I were in very similar situations last year. It was first time in our company we were a top producer. Were you any less stressed?
No.
I was more stressed.
I think there was an instant or a momentary lightness, as you guys described. I remember vividly after the biggest check that I ever saw in my life came into the bank account. I remember vividly playing with my son outside and having this feeling of I can just focus on my son right now.
Uh-huh.
I remember that feeling vividly. I still have it. I can see it. But guess how long that feeling lasted? A week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 minutes?
Because you're right back in it.
Because I was right back into the stress. Because like you said earlier, it just makes you more who you are. I am by nature a stressed person, a worry wart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I worry about money. I'm going to always worry about money. And so when that realization, the worst day of my life, that's like, dang, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. But thank you that it doesn't do what I thought it was going to do, because now I don't have to worry about it.
That's right.
Now I can do what I want to do because the money's just a byproduct of it.
Right.
But I'll say this too. One of the good things about getting to a level where you have the money is you have a different perspective. You have a perspective like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And the confidence. Whereas before you had like, I don't know how I'm ever going to get that much money or how I'm ever going to get to that level or do this. And then you get there and you're like, okay, it can be done.
Yeah.
Like it really can be done. Yeah, it's hard work. It's a lot of things, but it's not as daunting once you've gotten there. Right. Because you hear people all the time that made millions. You know, David Meltzer talks about it all the time. You know, I lost $100 million and I made it all back. Like you get there, you find the path to get there, and you make some bad decisions or whatever it is, lose it. But there's also the confidence like, okay, I can get back there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's something that you said about that.
Yeah.
Now, to the people that haven't been there, you can get there. Like whatever your goal is, but make sure that goal, like Ben was just talking about, is not a monetary value.
Right.
Make sure, because the money will come.
You know, I think there's two parts to that. I think there's part of that says, like, when you make the kind of money that whatever your dream is, whatever that number is, let's say it's $1 million. When you make $1 million, it provides options. Yeah. And it gives you possible options to do what you actually want to do. Now, you have to work, of course. So you may be at a job that you really don't give a damn about, but you're making good money. Well, the mindset needs to be, okay, I'm going to stack this money until I get to this number, or I'm getting to a number where I want to be, and then I'm going to do what I want to do. So there's got to be a passion. And that's a good thing about making money, is that it does give you opportunities. Things start to change. And people always say, well, you changed. You're damn right I changed. I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah.
Because the people that I've been introduced to now I can see, okay, maybe there's an opportunity for me to grow my wealth. Maybe there's an opportunity to put my kids in a position where they can grow at the same time. So I think when you get to a certain point, the good thing about getting money is not as much that I can go spend it, I can go do this, but the options that you may have for your own happiness, to find your own passion and what, what drives you.
So what happens when you make that $1 million though? Where does your mind immediately go to?
Bank account, my pocketbook. No,
To me, it goes to that next level.
It does.
Where do I go
now?
next?
Yeah.
Where do I go now?
That's the
I've done
obvious.
that. Now where do I go?
Yeah, but instead of
relishing in that moment, like, why do I not enjoy things more? I'm just going to speak for myself. That's a goal I had, and I've reached it. Why do I always have to look at the next mountaintop? I mean, I think that's a good thing, but at the same time, it's very stressful. It's like, just enjoy that for a second.
Yeah.
Like, you accomplished that goal.
But are we built that way?
I don't know. I can't speak for everybody.
I mean,
not built that way.
I'm not built that way
as
either.
one that's always looking to the next thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
I don't know if we're built that way. I think we're influenced to feel that way through our life.
through the experiences of our lives.
Through experiences, through content, through things that we absorb, things we watch. I think that, there's a competitiveness, but I mean, you think about simplest forms, right? What do we need? We need shelter and we need food. That's it, right? That's what we need. But everything else is just wants and like to haves. And so all those like to haves move into the I need to get to this level. I need to go to that level. So I do think that it is bred into, or not influenced into us, because that's the game.
Yeah.
We're playing the game.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that. I grew up in a way that I saw very firsthand the poorest of the poor in the world, literally in the world where I grew up. And as I get older and I get further away from that, and I get into a city like Dallas, which is uber wealthy, and you're hanging around the crowd that you're hanging out, you start to lose some of that perspective, like you said, Tyler. And so I think it's important, and we always talk about serving people. And so I think it's important to reset what is important, what is valuable, what is important.
Yeah.
By putting yourself back in those situations, going and serving, going to a third world country.
Yeah.
Because you get I think part of the stress is that you're like you said earlier, Darren, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
You see your inner circle, you think that's all that matters. I don't have as much as Tyler or Darren do, so I've got to keep grinding. Well, let's set the perspective back a little bit.
Yeah.
And I totally recognize that somebody listening to this that hasn't made the money that they want to make, no matter what we say, it's not going to resonate with you until you experience it.
Yeah.
This is just one of those things that it's probably not going to hit you until you go through it.
Yeah.
But hopefully there's some encouragement here that, maybe you do need to experience it, but hopefully you can lower your expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
Because for me, and again, it's only for me, it wasn't everything I played it up in my head.
Yeah, because like you said, it can take you one of two ways. Like if you have not necessarily lower expectations, I don't know if that's maybe the right words, but if you have perspective on when you get there, as opposed to letting it take you the other way, right? And now that jacks you up. Like you surround yourself with people that have their hands out. You got more money, more problems.
Yeah.
Like don't go that route. If you have perspective, you say, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this, and I'm gonna recognize this feeling that I have now, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change who I am, and I'm not going to let it change me. And the other thing too, and you both mentioned talking about service, and you mentioned it earlier. Probably the best thing about getting to a financially stable place is the ability to give without resentment or without hesitation. If I can help someone, and you can give clearly too, you can give in at like, okay, I'm not like indebted to you. I don't owe you. It's like, I can give to you if this really is the best thing for you.
Right.
And that to me was probably the greatest thing of when I was playing was being able to help out people when you needed it.
Because that's the true joy.
Yeah.
Like that is the joy. You make your money and you do whatever it is, if that's your dream. And then when you give, man, the purpose changes. Things change because you're seeing the effect in others and how greatly that effect can be. So part of me is just that. Like, my prayer every day is, God, give me the resources so I can give. Like I can feed back into you.
Yeah.
Like that's a prayer of mine every single day, because I always felt like when I was a kid, there was no one pouring back.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like no one was giving back to it.
Yeah, I think two things I think of that I want to make sure that aren't getting lost here. Number one, I would much rather be in a position where I do have money and I have those stresses than if I went back to not having money. So don't hear us say that money's bad. And that leads to the other thing is I grew up, your traditional Church of Christ, money's the root of all evil. Everybody knows that saying. And so money was demonized. What I've come to realize, money is neutral. Money, it's a piece of paper that we've, for whatever reason, decided means something.
Yeah.
That's not at the root of all evil. It's what you said, Darren. It's how you use that money. It's who are you serving with this money? Is it all you're thinking about and that's your only driver every single day when you wake up? Maybe that's not healthy. But wanting to attain money is not a bad thing at all.
No.
It's what do you do with it once you get there? And is it dominating your daily thoughts all the time?
Yeah.
Great.
So, I don't know. It's just, having that conversation with Sal yesterday, it hit me that, again, I thought money was just going to be this amazing thing, and it didn't do what I thought it was going to do.
No. And that's it. If your purpose, passion, family, relationship, if they don't align, money doesn't mean jack.
Yeah.
Because if those things, you can have it and you can still be miserable. You can enjoy it by yourself.
Tell you, it makes you more. Yeah. Money will make you more of who you are, man. If you're smoking weed right now and you're smoking a dollar joint, you're going to be smoking a whole bunch of weed when you get, you know what I mean? It's whatever extreme that you have right now, quadruple it. It's going to be there when you're not going to change in that aspect. So when you do make it, you got to figure out one thing. I mean, there's a couple of things I always feel like when you make the money. Who are you serving? Are you serving self? Are you serving money? Who are you serving?
Mm-hmm.
So once you figure out what that dynamic is, if I make the money, then let me figure out what my true passion is. What brings me true happiness?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And let me conquer that.
Yep.
Then let me figure out who I can serve and lift up and put in better financial situations because I've had it and it was given to me. Right?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it, man. Right. You're right, Ben. It's paper, brother.
Yeah. That's all it is.
And it's neutral.
Yep.
So when people are always in it, well, you just, you're greedy or you're money hungry. No, hey, look, money has nothing to do with the decision. That's on
this
me.
Is just
making
the person I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've gotten to a point where I would much rather be focused on how I spend my days and maybe make a little bit less than just doing anything I can to make a certain amount of money that I have deemed for whatever reason to be enough.
Yeah. Right.
It's much more important to me what I'm pursuing and how I'm spending my time. Yeah. More so than any piece of paper.
I just think of how much the pursuit of money, and leave it at that, pursuit of money takes away from my life and things that I really need to be pouring more into. Yeah. Time with my kids, time with my wife, time with my family. Because I need to get to this level, or I need to maintain this, or I've got to, support the decisions I've already made, the lifestyle that I've got, because I need to go make money and I've got to keep working. I mean, I can't tell you, and honestly, it breaks my heart because, like, my family even will reach out to Tiff because, he's just too busy. And so she's literally the middleman because I'm so busy and I have so much going on that, like, they don't want to bother me. Mm-hmm. Like, my own dad, like my brother, my sister. Oh, no. Like, we'll just talk to you, Tiff, because Tyler's so busy. Yeah, that's sad that, like, my family doesn't want to reach out because he's too busy. He's too busy because I'm so busy trying to chase this number.
Right.
And that's a perspective. Yeah. And that's humbling.
Yeah, that's tough.
As we close this out, the question we ask every guest, but let's specify it to money. Darren, if you could go back, Tyler, if you could go back, and I'll answer as well, to the time when you were the quote unquote poorest or
poest,
yeah. Before you had money, before you got into your career, if you could go back to that kid, what would you tell that kid? Or young adult, whatever stage you're in.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll start. Yeah. Live simply. Like, don't add all this freaking glitter and glamour and all this to your life. Like, you don't need much. Live simply, because then you can appreciate the real things and not the material things.
It's good. Think about it.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. That's a really good one.
What do you think? You could go back.
I mean, I think I would tell myself, pursue what you're passionate about, regardless of what it brings you income-wise.
Yeah, that is strong.
Chase what you're passionate about.
Goodness.
Because I've made so many decisions based on money in my life. Pretty much every decision I've made.
But now you're what? You're
34.
34.
About to be 34.
Okay.
33, yeah.
So almost mid-30s. Mm-hmm. Imagine if you could go back and tell your 19-year-old self, or 21-year-old, 22-year-old. When did you graduate? 22?
Yeah, 22.
22. Your 22-year-old self.
Yep.
You'd have had 13 years.
13 years to pursue what I'm really, really into. And I would spend every single day doing something I'm really, really into.
Yeah.
And I know this sounds hippie, but I promise you I would be richer than at any point in my life.
Like, honestly, I think like metaphorically and literally.
Right.
Yeah.
Like knowing you,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt. No doubt.
You know, God, that's such a great question because when I was a kid, it consumed me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I sat there and would cry and pray for like a windfall. Like, you ever seen people, you know, just pray to win the lottery? Man, when I win the lottery, that was me, man.
Yeah.
That was that kid. Like, man, I just.
Sorry, before you answer, because I don't want to keep going on, but I've had this thought lately, like, I'm to a point now, I don't want to win the lottery.
No, exactly.
Like, and that's a weird thing
liar.
to say.
You're a damn liar.
No, I would take it. But how many lottery tickets do I buy?
That's true. Yeah.
I don't ever buy a lottery ticket.
Right.
I don't know if I want a lump sum. Again,
Yeah, you lie.
would I take
That's
it?
a lie.
Yes.
That's a
No,
lie.
I'm being dead serious. Like,
Yeah, but that's a lie.
there's a part of me that's
take
almost
it.
like, I want to work for it.
Yeah.
I want to have to struggle for it a little bit. Again, now that you hand me $1 million check, I'm gonna take it. But
What if
I'm just saying,
somebody-
there's a
what if
small
somebody
part of
handed you
me.
On this
What if
conversation,
somebody
you're on
handed
your
you a
own.
$670 million check?
Whatever. I'm just saying, there's a small part of me that think, and maybe that's because I'm in
I
the.
go.
Oh, me and you. I'm gone.
Oh yeah. Who knows? But if this was a real scenario, if it was legit,
take care of the lease, man. Figure it out.
I don't know. There's a weird small part of it. It's the ego, is what it is.
Yeah.
That's saying, no, I'm going to do this on my own. I don't want anybody to hand me anything.
No.
Yeah. The appreciation on the other side, 100%. There's a ton of validity to that.
Sorry, Darren, I hijacked you.
Yeah, totally
No,
did.
you're fine,
But think
man.
about, have you ever done this though? And if you haven't, I don't believe you. But you hear on the radio or you see it, and it's like, oh, the jackpot's up to 540 million. You're like, all right, what can I spend it on? What can I do?
But then, do you ever go out and buy a dollar?
No, I bought
So
lottery
then you're
tickets.
really-
I bought
so it's
lottery
really not that
tickets
important to you?
Twice a month. No.
No,
So it's really-
but
you're really not that
I mean,
into
the
it.
thought, I mean, just to think about it, like, it's okay, $40 million.
Oh, I think about it all the time.
God, but that's how I was as a kid. So it consumed me. In my childhood, that's what it did. But if I could go back and tell myself something right now, I think it would go back to just what you just said and what I've learned over the last few years. Like, find what you're passionate about as a kid. Understand that, like, when you get money, if you don't love what you're doing, you're going to live in misery. Mm-hmm. You're continuously going to live in misery because there's no foundation in making money and hating what you do.
Yeah.
Because that's stress. That leads to addiction. There's so many
Relationships.
There's so
Poor
many
relationships.
ways that can go. But if you love what you're doing and loving the situation that you're in by making that kind of money, then that's what I would tell myself. Hey, you figure it out. What you're
Just think
passionate
about the person you are when you're
Yeah.
pursuing something that you're so into.
Yeah.
You're just, everything about you is just so much
Well,
more pleasant to be around.
And the other thing, and you say the situation that you're in, the people that you're around, like doing what you love and being around the people that you love. Because I'll tell you this, outside of a jet ski,
And
no material thing has made me smile like another person, right? Like the feeling that another person gives you, whether you're pouring into them, they're pouring into you, like the emotional impact that they make, nothing that you can buy gives you that. Like no truck, no house, no vacation. What really a person can actually make you feel, except for a jet ski. A jet ski,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
dare you to go on it. I dare you to go on it and not be grinning ear to ear. I dare you.
Have you ever in a jet ski? Darren?
hell no. But that's the thing. That's just it.
All right. Next Darren Woodson show.
YouTube video coming soon.
But that's the thing, though.
Just
Like,
Kenny Powers reenactment.
isn't that the feeling that you have, though? You go get the jet ski and you're like, oh my God. I
It feels
couldn't wait.
good.
It
Don't get
feels
me
good.
wrong.
You buy that new car. It's like, oh my God, I got the new
But
car.
a week later, you're just like,
It's
whatever.
just a,
Yeah, but a jet
Just a
ski,
whip.
10 years later, you get on that thing, you're smiling.
you with his damn jet ski.
So,
Anyways, but man, appreciate you. I mean, this is real talk. I know
Yeah.
we've all shared, things that that are very intimate to our lives and our perspective. And again, we are not experts, and we're not giving, expert advice. This is us talking.
You know what I'd be curious to know is how many people disagree with that.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I'm
man.
sure there's people out there that are so money driven. They're like, dude, this is the greatest thing ever. I don't care what
And
I got
have
to
made
do.
money, and they're like, you're out your damn mind.
I'm all for that. If that's what drives you, I can only speak for me personally.
That's right.
I would much rather spend my days doing something I'm really into and maybe making a little bit less as opposed to doing something I don't really want to do at all.
Yeah.
Just because of a paycheck.
Yeah.
And again, I want to reiterate, if you're listening to this and you're not in this situation, figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Anything we say, you're not going to believe anyway. Yeah. So go figure it out for yourself.
I definitely didn't believe that bullshit you said about winning the lottery. Like, I'd rather work.
I call BS on that. Yeah.
Have I ever bought a lottery ticket?
I'd rather grind for the next 15 years.
Have you ever bought a lottery ticket? Or how often do you buy lottery tickets?
I don't.
So then you don't care that much about it either.
No, I do. I mean, look, if it was to be given to me,
Your
looking
exact
at it
words.
different.
Your exact words. I would rather not.
I would rather not. Exactly.
Okay. Well, can I go back and amend my statement for you two jackasses?
Amend it. Go ahead.
Amend away.
We'll wait. We got time.
Yeah, we'll wait.
The ego part of me, there's a small ego part of me that says, I want to earn it. I want to work for it. I want to struggle. Having said that, if somebody hands me a $600 million check, I'm going to say yes to that check. But I'm not going to go to the corner store and buy lottery tickets every day to try to win it either.
You're going to go, after you get that $600 million check, you're going to get a Lambo.
You're going to see me in yellow shoes, a bathrobe.
By draws.
I won't wear anything but yellow shoes and a bathrobe the rest of my days if I make $600 million. You know what I'm talking about happiness? I will be happy.
It's not the money. It's not the money. It's the yellow shoes.
It'll be all about the money at that point.
All right. Well, make sure to tune in next week when
you won't be getting this conversation next week. I can promise you that.
When the
wife takeover.
There we go. Wife's takeover. So
Mom takeover.
Whitney, Tiffany, and Tiffany. See how I mixed up the Tiffany's on that one?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. I didn't know where you were going with that one.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It was wild. But yeah, make sure to tune in. It'll be great. We appreciate all you for listening.
Share the show.
Share the show. Share.
Where can people subscribe to see more of us?
So there's a couple places you can go. You can obviously follow us on iTunes, on the podcast app. You can go to Darren Woodson Show on Instagram to follow. YouTube, the Darren Woodson Show on YouTube. You can leave comments there. We're having some fun with this black hole that is YouTube.
Yes.
Can I read a review real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Heck yeah.
This one got me. Hold on, sorry, I gotta find it.
While you're finding it.
Yeah, fill the air. Fill the air.
All right. Well, I'm about to go buy that Lambo this
Darren, what's it like to be rich?
Yeah, right. All right.
So this is a review we just recently got. Do you remember what episode Drew Robinson was? What number?
Oh,
I'll look
After 100,
before I
wasn't
read
it?
this. Yeah, it was not long ago. It was episode
You're feeling
105.
There you go.
Episode 105. If you have not listened to if you're new and you haven't listened to episode 105 with Drew Robinson, go back and listen to that immediately. Don't waste any more time. This review we received, the subject line was outstanding, and this is from Annie McCabe. My husband committed suicide when my son was 12 years old. Today, he was playing football in college. He struggled through injuries, self-doubt, and I'm thankful for coaches being aware enough to help him seek the help he needs. Collegiate and professional sports have a ton of ups and downs, and young adults need to know they aren't alone with these struggles. Thank you to all involved in this episode for getting the word out for all young men and women struggling with depression and self-doubt.
Yeah, that's why we did the show, man.
That's why we do the show right there. And if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it. It changed all of our lives.
Yeah, it did.
Sorry, that just popped in my head, but that review is exactly why we do this show.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that, Annie. Thank you to you guys. We'll see you on Friday.